Good morning. I'm still reporting on the coup. So now we have it nailed down who the major coup players were in the top floors of the all-important DOJ FBI complexes along Pennsylvania Avenue. And now the investigative powers of those who know the most about this situation are slowly starting to make their inevitable turn towards the pinnacle of power during the early stages of the assault on Team Trump. President Trump asked the question yesterday morning in this tweet. The Wall Street Journal asks, where in the world was Barack Obama? A very good question. So most of this audience probably thinks Obama was in on this coup. However, at the rate at which we are getting documentation of the wrongdoings within the DOJ and the FBI, it could be another year before we have anything solid on the former president. That's until you put the one man who knows more about the technical capabilities of our modern-day big brother than anyone else, Mr. Bill Binney. Mr. Binney spent 37 years in the NSA. He worked his way up to having the daunting title Technical Director of the World for the Geopolitical and Military Analysis and Reporting Group. Mr. Binney is the top guy in the top government agency when it comes to electronic spying and surveillance capabilities of the United States.
So the big question now is, did the intel community under Obama spy on the Trump campaign for political purposes, as I asked in the angle? Let's discuss that with former NSA intel official William Binney here in the studio with me, and in Boston, former Delta Force officer Jeff Binney, who was a CIA Counter-Terror Center case officer and a hostage rescue advisor to the FBI. Great to have both of you on. William, let's start with you. I find this narrative to be so disturbing on so many levels. We go back to the spring of 2016 when, on a few occasions, Loretta Lynch could have approved a defensive briefing of the Trump campaign, saying, look, we see your list of advisors, includes this guy Carter Page, just might want to know, we've been watching him for some time, and she said no. On two occasions, they could have informed the Trump campaign of their concerns. They did not want to do that.
Actually, I think their spying on the campaign goes even before that. I mean, NSA is picking up all the data on them anyway. They have it stored and they can access it through the IC Reach program.
So continue. Continue that thought.
Without any oversight by the intelligence committees or the FISA court. It's all done under Executive Order 12333.
So you're going back to the, okay. But you're going.
This is an astounding statement by Mr. Binney, but he's made it before. I filmed him in his home in June of 2014, nearly 4 years ago. I broke the interview up into 10 parts, beginning with Part 1, Still Report number 288. What Mr. Binney just said went completely over the head of Laura Ingraham. Let's look at it again.
Actually, I think their spying on the campaign goes even before that. I mean, NSA is picking up all the data on them anyway. They have it stored and they can access it through the IC Reach program.
So continue. Continue that thought.
Without any oversight by the intelligence committees or the FISA court. It's all done under Executive Order 12333.
So you're going back to the, okay.
Mr. Binney says that NSA has compromised all communications links, at least within the United States. NSA listens to, records, and stores all of our conversations, landline phones, emails, text messages, even the encrypted stuff, Telegram, and cell phones has been recorded and stored. Eventually, NSA will be able to break that encryption if they can't already. But that's not the most remarkable thing Mr. Binney said. He also said that this data is now available to anyone in the intelligence community thanks to Executive Order 1233236.
But you're going to the collection of data
right.
that the
it's
NSA
all available.
continues,
right.
The surveillance program that Clapper, correct me if I'm wrong, Clapper is the one who originally didn't tell the truth about.
Yes, that's right. And also Alexander didn't tell the truth about it either. So when he testified in the Senate saying we didn't collect data on millions or hundreds of millions. Yeah. Well, Keith Alexander.
Okay, I'm sorry, Keith Alexander. I'm like, Lamar, what did he have to do with it? Okay, let's stay focused. So we want to stay focused on this current issue because I want to stay focused on John Brennan, okay? Because John Brennan back to March 21st of this year, was throwing out all sorts of theories to hurt the president. Let's watch.
Yeah. I think he's afraid of the president of Russia.
Why?
Well, I think one can speculate as to why. That the Russians may have something on him personally that they could always roll out and make his life more difficult.
Jeff, I heard that. They may have something on Trump that they may roll out in the future. How does that make the intel community look good when Brennan is on TV speculating that one of our adversaries has information on him when that dossier has been debunked and phony and paid for by Hillary Clinton? I find that watching that again today was outrageous.
It is outrageous. You know, I mean, here you have, well, he's playing to his base. He's no longer a government official. He has a political base, and that's what he's playing to. And I hate to say it, but we could speculate on this. Those are the words of a word I used last week with you, of a propagandist. You know, when you're out there using innuendo and speculation, you're just trying to cast this net out there and trying to roll back, actually, a failure that Brennan suffered. I mean, Brennan has suffered multiple failures at Putin's hand. You know, I mean, as a director of the CIA, you know, there was the Crimea annexation on Brennan's watch. There was the Russian incursion into eastern Ukraine on Brennan's watch. The whole 2016 Russian meddling in the election all happened on Brennan's watch. He failed 4 times. And Putin, and the fourth is, he's failing now because Putin's objective, Putin's been the winner. His objective really wasn't about making Trump the winner of the election. It was about weakening the United States. It was whatever it would take to cause division, to make us less effective, so that we would be not united in opposing the Russian international agenda. And that's been successful. Yeah. And Brennan, once again, is paying into his hand.
Yeah, I mean, I think, didn't China steal our OPM files, Office of Personnel Management files under Obama, too? I mean, and like China's, meanwhile, gobbling up all these properties all around the world. And we're like, Russia, Russia, Russia. I'm sorry. Every time someone says Russia, I say China. I want to play for you. This was Bob Baer, former CIA case officer, is on another network. He said there's no way that Obama would have approved of any political motivation to start an investigation. Let's watch.
The FBI, when it got a lead that Carter Page was possibly a Russian agent, at that point was legally obligated to open an investigation. This is what the FBI does. But I guarantee you the President Obama did not call up the FBI and say, open up a political investigation into Donald Trump. It just did not happen. So he's conflating these two things, a counterintelligence investigation and a political, dirty tricks.
Now Mr. Binney weighs in with a brilliant deduction that only someone of his caliber would know.
Oh, that's a red herring, though, William. Whether or not he ordered it, the idea that they would put a informant or a mole and not inform the President of the United States. Well, hold on a second, Jeff. Let's go to you, William, on that.
Well, just think of the Steele dossier. I mean, that involved the FBI, the DOJ, and CIA. And, that kind of relationship only comes to a point at the President. That's the only person that has control of all of them and can tell them all what to do.
Given your vast government experience, intel community, when they lie, when they don't lie, scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the least likely, 10 being the most likely that Obama knew about this investigation.
I would say 10.
Jeff?
Yeah, I would agree that they have to know what's going on. And if they didn't, then they're not doing their job.
You can still catch my 10-part interview with Bill Binney right here on my YouTube channel, starting with SR 288, published on June 28, 2014, then continuing with SR 290, 91, 93, 94, 95, 98, 99, 302, and 306. I'm still reporting from outside the one-time free speech capital of the world,